3 world records came very close to falling this weekend. And believe it or not even to professional athletes, to college track athletes. And delving a little deeper into the times, 2 of these 3 performances have serious outdoor world record implications.
That's super nice. I mean, the plans were this year just to win and get the outdoor record. This is a huge bonus,
Okay, a lot went on this weekend. The NCAA champs, New Balance and Nike high school champs, as well as some Gout action. But obviously, we're here to talk about these 3 almost world records. And the first of the 3 at this week's Indoor NCAA Championships, and probably thought to be the most impressive, was Garrett Kaalund in the men's 200 meter.
From the inside, Tyson Williams of South Carolina.
But first, before all of that, Garrett Kaalund has been coming off the most underrated indoor season in history. This year, he's already run a 32.1 in the 300, a top 10 all-time, world lead this year, and faster than Jareem Richards and Noah Lyles' world record showdown. Also, an incredible 20.12, 20.06, and 20.11 in the 200 meter, all times that would place him in the top 7 in history, and he did it in back-to-back weeks leading up to this race. One of them coming from a prelim race where he was taking it easy. He's been historically fast, and not just one-off races, this is real consistency, the type of consistency we don't even get from most professionals. So there was an air surrounding him before this race.
From the inside, Tyson Williams of South Carolina.
And unlike the prelims where he was pressed by Jelani Watkins on his outside, he outright crushes him.
He's lifting, Watkins is trying to catch him, he's not going to. Oh my God! Oh my God!
1993 is the flash time, later corrected to 19.95, the second ever sub-20 in the indoor 200 meters. It's also a new massive American record and only 0.03 off the world record of 19.92 seconds, which is a time-tested record by Frankie Fredericks that has stood for 30 years. This is one of the most impressive 200 meter runs, indoors or out, ever. Yet, people just aren't taking it as seriously as they should, and for good reason. When we look at the all-time indoor 200 meter list, it lacks the pedigree of the outdoor list. Literally none of the top 10, Bolt, Blake, all the way down to Gay, are on the indoor list. So it's fair to be a little bit skeptical. But hold on, let's pull out the numbers. Oh, you know I love this. Yes, this isn't the most decorated names in 200 meter running, but looking at their corresponding outdoor PRs tells us one thing. They're not second-rate 200 meter runners. And on average, the difference between their indoor and outdoor 200 meter PRs is a huge 0.32 seconds. If we give this same treatment to Kaalund, who's only 22 years old by the way, come outdoor, he should be projected to run 19.63. Theoretically, of course. But honestly, based on this, the likelihood of a 19.6 is pretty damn high. And the only real counter-argument to this is a lot of athletes on this list, their outdoor 200 meter PRs could have come years after their indoor 200 meter PRs. Well, you're wrong. I was ready for your imaginary nonsense. That's really me making counter-arguments in my own head. Every single athlete on this list ran both their indoor and outdoor 200 meter PRs in the exact same season or the very next season after. Do you know how crazy of a fact that is? Kaalund is going to be wicked this year. And personally, I'm imagining a peak Terrence Laird, but 0.3 seconds faster. I'm all in on the Kaalund train. Okay, now this one wasn't as close to a world record as I made it up to be in my mind. But what Jacoby Tharp did in the 60 meter hurdles was, in my opinion, the most impressive performance of NCAA indoors. Blasting from the gun, he's the first athlete to reach hurdle 1, something we didn't see from him last year at all. And from that point, this race is already his, because Tharp is a killer on the back half.
Jacoby Tharp defends his title, 10 points for all.
7.32 seconds, blowing away the previous collegiate record held by Grant Holloway by 0.03 seconds, which is a gargantuan margin in this event. And that also lands him in the number 3 spot of all time in this event. And the fact he destroyed Holloway's collegiate record, this is a record that's probably never being touched by a collegiate athlete ever again. And seriously, I'm telling you this straight-faced, this has genuine world record implications. Jacoby Tharp is 20 years old and has already proved his abilities on the world stage. Last year, at 19 years old, he won NCAA Indoors, won NCAA Outdoors, and went to the US Championships, the hardest national team to make in the world by far, ran a near-perfect race from lane 1 to snake the win under the nose of Cordell Tinch, who had just become the 4th ever fastest 110 hurdler in history that very same year.
And Tharp is going to win, and look at the time, 13:01.
It doesn't get much better than that at 19. But at the World Champs, the fatigue of a long college season plus international season finally reared its ugly head, and he would place 6th at the World Champs final, while Tinch went on to take gold. But reminder, he did all that at 19 with a 60-meter hurdle PR of 7.45 seconds from that year's NCAA championship. Now, he's just run 0.13 seconds faster over the first 60 meters. Just imagine what that means for outdoors. But that's not even all of it. Why I think in future he could seriously be the guy to break the world record is because the only 2 faster men than Tharp at these 60-meter hurdles are Grant Holloway, number 2 all-time outdoors, and Colin Jackson, who's number 10 all-time outdoors. And quite frankly, they were both certified 60-meter hurdle merchants. Holloway speaks for himself. We've seen how he runs races, bangs out the first 70, gets caught in the final 40. And Colin Jackson was Grant Holloway's blueprint, with a slightly better finish if I'm honest.
Oh, Jackson got a good one. It's Jackson in the first hurdle.
Okay, 60-meter merchants is a bit cruel. Both have multiple global medals and are top 10 all-time in the 110 hurdles. But they were hurdlers who did the majority of their work in the first half and could be caught on the back end. And they still ran wicked times. Jacoby Tharp now has a start just outside the 2 best to ever do it. But he can also finish a race on par with the world's best. We saw that last year firsthand. And unlike the 200-meter indoor list where most of the best don't run the event, Merritt, Allen, Robels, Tinch all ran the 60-meter hurdles too. Tharp is just better than them at it. 12.8 is imminent. Now, even though 3 races were close to world records, I did only mention 2 of them having world record implications. And here's why. In the men's 400 meter, Samuel Ogazi officially ran the 2nd fastest time ever. But if we do count non-ratified times, it's the 4th. 44.52 is the official world record, but 44.49 is the fastest we've ever seen. It's a bit of a mess. Regardless, it was a great time and race. Ogazi is 19 years old, that's disgusting, and in this race, he got ahead at the break and fought hard to hold it off to the end.
Does Brown have another gear to pass Ogazi? It's going to be closer to Tate. It's Samuel Ogazi. Now let's look at the clock. 44.56.
But this event is just so unserious. I'm sorry. Technically, he's not even the fastest 19-year-old on this all-time list. Morales Williams was 19 when he ran 44.49, the unofficial world record. And he hasn't done much since. It's a bit brutal sounding, but he hasn't made his way to the final of a global championship. And in saying that, even Samuel Ogazi has, when he was 18 at the Paris Olympics. Unlike the 200 and 60-meter hurdle all-time lists, this one is a lot less predictable, with a ton of the best outdoor runners' names missing, and most of these guys on the list didn't perform well outdoors. The 400 meters is just so volatile as an event. Every year, we see different world leaders and contenders running 43 seconds, and then they just vanish after a couple years. Something about this event just breeds inconsistency, and after trying to keep track of this event for the last few years, I don't even think it's the athlete's fault. It might just be the most brutal event in the sport. And speaking of the 400 meter and inconsistency, Quincy Wilson ran at the New Balance High School Champs this weekend. Wilson is an athlete whose progression hasn't been linear, and in fact, nothing is really linear anyway. They're even finding now that you actually age and grow in bursts. But since his huge burst onto the scene in 2024, where he went from a mid-45 runner to 44.2, he's been kind of stagnant. But I do think that's all about to change. At his final New Balance Nationals, he was hot off the gun, splitting 21 seconds flat for his first 200 meter, before out of nowhere, in the closing stages, Jaden DeLeon almost clips him at the line.
Is trying to run down Quincy Wilson, the Olympian. Oh my word! I think Wilson might have just held on there.
45.37 seconds indoors is a 0.3 second PR from his previous best last year, where he went on to run 44.1 outdoors. Theoretically, that might put him in 43 territory in the outdoor season, which is absolutely crazy, considering he only took the high school title out by 0.01 seconds. But this has kind of been the curse of Quincy's whole high school career. Over the last 2 years, he's actually lost to 2 other high schoolers, and now another one coming this close, proving again just how ridiculously volatile this event is. And to add to that, Ogazi runs 44.5 indoors, but has a slower outdoor PR than Quincy. I think Quincy is just kind of bad indoors. Again, this event continues to confuse me. It's hard to take it serious with how wacky it is. And to wrap up some other moments I had my eye on but spent all my time glazing Tharp and Kaalund, Ajayi near took down the NCAA 60-meter record for the second week in a row.
Watkins with a not great start. Walker, of course, got a great one there as Consola Ajayi.
Once he got striding this final, he was gone. Watkins did do some good work on the inside, but he butchered his start. Unfortunately, neither will be at World Indoors to challenge Anthony, but based off how they finish, they'll both be really fun to watch outdoors. Also, as a whole, NCAA Indoors was a bit of a sausage fest. The women's side was a bit weaker than the other years, Hedengren being the women's standout, won both the 5K and 3K in quite dominating fashion, as a freshman I might add. She struggled early this year against Lemongol at the cross-country champs, but in the few months since, she has progressed enough to break the outright NCAA record in the 5K, indoors, and crush Lemongol at a championship setting. Her improvement is rapid, and from my perspective, she's a way better version of both Caitlin Tui and Parker Velby. And that was the week in my eyes. I saw some funny discourse online about Gout running like shit, and Tate then also running like shit at Nike Indoors, like it's some sort of weird gang war. Just you wait till proper outdoors is here, these guys won't disappoint. Stop calling Gout a fraud. Bye bye now.